So indeed, we're focusing on expert in email security. What we are seeing right now, it's threats being very, very challenging. There is a lot of randomizations in the content in order to break through regular defenses. We are seeing new trends also in terms of reusing past breaches to feed new scams and new threats with real information, so the click rate is much higher.
Yes.
And we are seeing phishing being the threat number one, which leads to the human element here at this conference. And Microsoft being the biggest target of phishing here in order to target companies and MSPs. There is like an industrialization of what they are doing. We're seeing that more and more. So what we're facing in these days, it's for example 1,000 phishing emails in a campaign, and it's going to be 1,000 different emails. So in our strategy, for example, we have another layer now. Instead of scanning a code, from the email or the web page, now we scan the look and feel, the rendering, what it looks like. We use computer vision for that. Indeed, so what we are facing, it's for example, you are receiving a phishing email today, you report it to your security vendor, and they block it, and the next day you are receiving the same. It looks the same to you, it looks the same at all, but it's not the same in terms of code. Everything is different inside, and that's why we need to have a different approach. Instead of the code, no, we look at the vision of the thing, the vision of the threat. Indeed, so it's the biggest target for phishing, the brand number one victim of phishing in the world. It's head-to-head between PayPal. So we're seeing on the black market the value of a Microsoft account being very, very high. That's why they're being targeted by phishers. And because all the companies are moving to Office 365, we believe that's also one of the main reasons why phishers are targeting that. And so we believe we need to rethink how the protection is done with Office 365. It's a cloud product, it's not in your company anymore. There is no border anymore for your security. And so it needs to be inside and have different approaches for the threat and the management. There is no issue in explaining there is a threat, and so something needs to be in place. So customers are very open in that, actually. It's the challenge is more small companies believe they're not a target because phishers will target more big companies, for example, and it's not true at all, and we have seen use cases. And for example, we're seeing MSPs, which can be also small companies, but being the target because that's the way to reach the end clients, which can be governmental agencies and etc. So we're seeing MSPs being more and more targeted, and we believe we need more evangelization on that. And we believe MSPs are also, and it's happening, we're seeing that and we're helping that, but it's moving from MSPs to MSSPs. They have the responsibility of explaining security to the small companies, because we also need to secure small companies, because at some point they're always connected with something that has an impact, and so interest for the phishers. Yes, so the companies, the decision makers, but also the users. So we're also going into that aspect, and we're combining more and more in our strategy the user and the technology. We hear a lot that the main issue in IT is between the chair and the keyboard, that it's the weakest element of the chain, but we actually don't think like that at all. We have to have a modest approach about it as a security vendor. We believe when threats are breaking through all the layers of defenses, the one making the last decision, the last line of defense, it is the user. So we are combining and creating an improvement loop, a continuous improvement loop between the user and the technology, and going to the remediation in order to learn and improve the system continuously. The user is part of the chain. The user is helpful a lot to improve the technology. What the technology misses, the user sees it. That's as simple as that. And so we need to have it part of the chain, and we need to strengthen the user in terms of awareness, so he's more aware of identifying the threat and reporting the threat to improve the technology.